Morning, friends. Okay, let's continue on with Order of the Unicorn. When we stopped last, we found out that Pearl and Ben had ventured into the basement of Dr. Wu's button factory, and they found Dr. Wu sitting on a dock with her legs in the water, and there was a very dangerous creature. They don't know what it is. There's a very dangerous creature that is swimming up to them and staring right at Pearl. Chapter 7, Kid Sandwiches. Is that a horse? Of course it's not a horse, Pearl whispered. Horses don't swim underwater, Ben. And then she realized that the two eyes were looking right at her were in fact horses' eyes on a horse face at the end of a horse neck. Wait a minute. You are correct, Pearl. The creature before you is not a horse, though it is a distant relative. It's a kelpie. While the kelpie had a face and a mane like a horse, its color was greenish black, perfectly matching the water. Its skin looked smooth like a seal's. The creature swam closer. But it's so cute, Pearl said as she reached out, but Dr. Wu grabbed her hand midair. I was just gonna pet it, Pearl explained. Never try to pet a kelpie. How come? Because kelpies eat children. What? The doc rocked as Ben shot to his feet. Are you kidding? His voice cracked. Eat children? Pearl took a longer look and realized that the creature's stare was cold and calculating, the way a tiger might watch a bunny before a pounce. Was the kelpie imagining what Pearl would look like inside a hamburger bun? Or between two pancakes? Pearl scooted away from the edge. Kelpies live in lakes and rivers, Dr. Wu explained. Their front legs end in fins, and their hindquarters are serpent-like. They have the ability to shape-shift in order to catch their prey. Shape-shift? Ben said. When a kelpie walks onto land in the imaginary world, it makes itself look like an ordinary horse. Then it offers a ride to a passing child. Once the child climbs onto its back, it carries him into the depths and drowns him in the lake, and then it feasts. That's horrible, Pearl said, glaring at the kelpie. It glared right back. She wanted to scold it or change its color. There were lots of other things to eat. Why pick on children? Do we taste good? She thought. Wait a minute, Ben said. How can there be children in the imaginary world? I thought only humans lived here. They didn't live in the imaginary world. That is a good point, Dr. Wu said. However, there are many beings that have children. Elves, for instance, and trolls. She tucked her hair behind her ears. The only way to tell a real horse from a kelpie on land is that the kelpie's mane will never stop dripping water. The kelpie moved past Pearl and then focused on Ben. It cocked its head, watching him with a stare that could turn a dragon's flame to ice. What level is it on the danger scale? Ben asked. He looked ready to run to the nearest exit. Mr. Tabby said that we would never need any more training, that we would need more training before we could be around a level 4. The creature scale was how Mr. Tabby measures the creatures, 1 being tame, 5 being the most dangerous. Pearl's guessed that anything that eats children would rank a level 5. The kelpie ranks a 5+, Dr. Wu said. 5+? Ben's voice cracked again. Pearl's stomach tightened. She and Ben hadn't yet met anything that was a level 5. She wondered if a kelpie could leap from the water like a fish and grab her with its teeth. She balled her hands into fists, ready to defend herself if needed. No one was going to make a breakfast sandwich out of her. Ben, please sit down. You are rocking the dock. Dr. Wu pats the planks. The kelpie will not eat you. Well, At least not today. It is here for treatment for an infected fin, and it is promised to behave. She patted the dock again. Ben looked totally unconvinced, but sat anyway, his back as stiff as wood. The Kelpie flared its nostrils and sniffed, and then it started bobbing his head. What's it doing?" Pearl asked. "It appears that it likes the way Ben smells," Dr. Wu explained. The Kelpie stiffened again and then paddled a little bit closer. "You'd better stop smelling me," he pointed to the creature, "because I'm not on the menu." Actually, you are, Ben," Dr. Wu said with a sly smile. Ben's mouth fell open. Pearl gasped. "You're joking, right? You said it just wouldn't eat us today." "In order to recover from its infection, the Kelpie needs nourishment. The problem is, it has completely lost its appetite." Dr. Wu reached into the bucket and pulled out a small fish. Because children are a rare treat, the Kelpie mostly eats fish, but I haven't been able to coax it into having any. I thought that maybe bringing you here, your scent, might stimulate its appetite. Pearl had to think about this for a moment. "You mean like when I smell a ripe nectarine, my mouth starts to water?" "Exactly." "You want me to make his mouth water?" Dr. Wu nodded. Pearl looked at Ben. "Kinda makes sense. But I don't understand why you're helping something that's so dangerous." "It is not my job to judge what deserves to live and what deserves to die. All creatures have the right to medical care." Pearl kind of felt bad for even asking the question, but she wasn't sure she agreed with Dr. Wu's answer. Did a flea deserve to live after it had sucked her blood? The Kelpie gazed coldly at Ben. "It definitely prefers Ben's scent. So, if you wouldn't mind, Ben," and she held out the fish. "You want me to... He looked desperately at Dr. Wu. "You can't be serious." "Of course I am serious. I don't have a bottle labeled scent of children, so this is my best solution that I can think of. I am lucky to have you here." "Look," Pearl said. Its mouth is already dripping. A little string of drool hung from the Kelpie's lip. "But what if it bites more than the fish?" Ben asked. "I don't think it will." "You don't think it will? Is that how you lost your finger?" Dr. Wu glanced at her right hand, which was missing her index finger. No, I did not lose my finger to a Kelpie." And then she wiggled the fish. "Please, Ben, I need your help." So Ben took the fish. "What do I do?" "Hold it out." His hand shaking, he stretched his arm out and offered the fish to the Kelpie. Pearl put both her hands over her face, watching from between her fingers. If Ben got eaten, his grandfather would be furious with Dr. Wu. The Kelpie sniffed again, and then it pulled back its upper lip and opened its mouth. Ben squeezed his eyes shut. Pearl expected the creature to chomp down on the fish, but ever so delicately the Kelpie sucked it between its teeth and then swallowed the fish whole. Ben opened his eyes and lowered his hand. "Didn't even chew," Pearl said. "I get into trouble if I don't chew. My mom says that I swallow too much food and I'll get gassy." The Kelpie burped. "See?" Ben fed the Kelpie another fish and another. His hand shook every time, but he kept his eyes open. "Let me try," Pearl said, but the Kelpie turned its head away, ignoring Pearl as if she were a piece of burned toast. "Hey," Pearl said, "how come it doesn't like the way I smell?" "Kelpies tend to be fonder of boys." "Well, that's just not fair," Pearl grumbled. "You're upset because she wants to eat me and not you? That's crazy." Maybe so, Pearl thought, but she didn't like being left out. After eating a dozen fish, the Kelpie disappeared beneath the water. Dr. Wu reached into her lab coat and removed her creature calculator, a device that she and Mr. Tabby used to keep track of their patients. She typed on the keyboard and then read the screen. Its energy level has improved already. I think it is going to be just fine. Good job, Ben. And with a proud smile, Ben carried the empty bucket as Dr. Wu led the way back up the dock. By the time they reached the stairwell, Pearl had conjured up a bunch of new questions. Dr. Wu, why do Kelpies want to eat kids? Do they taste different than grown-ups? And how come they're more fond of boys? Are Kelpies related to seahorses? How long do they live? And if a Kelpie grabs you, how do you escape? Dr. Wu turned around and smiled patiently. Pearl, while your questions are important, and they are plentiful as the scales on a dragon's back, have you ever heard the saying, quality, not quantity? No, Pearl said. I have, Ben responded. It means that it's better to ask one great question instead of 100 ordinary questions. Exactly. The doctor folded her arms, waiting for Pearl to decide. Ugh, fine. Pearl screwed up her face. One question. Why should I care about something that wants to eat me? Dr. Wu raised her eyebrows. Now that is an excellent question, but one you must answer for yourself. Before Pearl could point out that because there had been no answer, she would get the chance to ask a second question. A nasal voice shot out from the wall speaker. Dr. Wu to 10th floor immediately.